that Disney Channel is rebooting the series, giving Rick Riordan the opportunity to faithfully adapt his book.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
When did that fall off? I wonder. Hey, you geeks! Happy New Year! It seems like this new year will bring a lot of Stormlight nostalgia and Indian cinema to this channel, so strap yourselves in as we first dive into one of my seething pits of mixed feelings in Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Seriously, the level of meh I felt about Amazon Prime The Rings of Power cannot compete with the absolute soul-crushing despair I felt as a teenager at the movie of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
These wounds won't seem to heal. This pain is just too real.
In truth, it's been a while since teenage Jackie found a loose copy of The Lightning Thief in her middle school lost and found and decided that she'd found it now. Then went on to read the book and legitimately purchase all preceding novels. Probably my favorite thing about this show already is that it's reminded me of how much I loved this series as a kid. More on that later as I break down the 10 total things that I love about the series so far. Spoiler warning for the first 3 episodes, and though I will be drawing on my dated knowledge of the book series, I won't spoil anything directly, but if you know, you know. Number 1, mom power. From a writing perspective, the best thing that Percy Jackson did was take the time in the first episode to show us just how strong the bond between Percy and his mother is.
Hold fast, Perseus. Brave the storm that was made to break us, for we are unbreakable.
We see that his mom is already the kind of cool mom who loves her son and is willing to go full matador as she stands against the Minotaur for him. Though Percy doesn't quite convey the emotional feelings of loss, his action to, go fight the Minotaur instead of run for safety, I believe is encouraged by his unacknowledged feeling of loss as it is sort of in the book. Since the show chooses to make it completely clear that Percy's emotional reason for his quest is to go save his mother...
Your mother was stolen by Hades, which means she's with him now in the underworld. That's where they want you to go too, isn't it?
It makes so much sense for the show to admittedly push other things aside in favor of really grounding that relationship between Percy and his mother before he embarks on this quest and goes out.
Into the unknown.
Number 2, tween-agers. These actors are just great because they actually look like they could be in middle school. Seriously, I look at Percy and I see a little middle school boy who's in way over his head. Not to mention, Percy's head looks like it could adequately fit into a toilet, making it perfect for swirlies. While Grover, despite him being allegedly...
Yeah, I'm actually 24.
Still looks like the kind of kid who is picked on by bullies. The apparent age of these actors and characters also explains further why characters like Annabeth may not have interacted with Percy as much, because they're just getting over the age where they think the other sex has cooties, and Percy, for all we know, may still think that on a subliminal level.
I chose her because I couldn't imagine we'd ever be friends.
But of course, it's the role of summer camp to bring all of these emotional and hormonal young adolescents into a nice boiling pot for character development to occur. Number 3, camp. The show does a great job on picking up on this camp vibe. Starting with the cabins that, though they don't look exactly like they do in the books, still give off the same general vibe. I don't see here exactly a definitive hearth by which a single solitary girl is sitting. Let me know if you do in the comments. But while that inclusion would have brought the show to S-tier adaptation, it's pretty clear that they actually thought about what summer camps look like and run like, and having, even though for half-bloods, the semblance of safety rules at an archery range.
Whoa, guys, watch the arrows.
Thank you for playing, should we or should we not? Follow the advice of the galactically stupid!
Not to mention, everyone is wearing their camp t-shirts and appropriate levels of beads on their leather cord necklaces. Notably, Percy doesn't have any beads on his necklace, which makes him stand out a little bit in the crowd, along with his little thing with blue food. These details that aren't vocally explained give such depth and texture to the story that it conveys thousands of words without saying a single one of them. Number 4.
I am your father.
Percy may not emote facially quite enough, but he is more of a man of action, even in the books.
What'd you say? I got off her head.
Thus, in the show, when we see him sacrifice his mother-given blue food to get his dad's attention, we know it's serious. And then we see him try to win glory in the game of Capture the Flag, because that's apparently what heroism is all about now. Or rather, I see it as more what teenagers would think heroism is all about.
I'm the most famous person in all of Greece. I'm an action figure.
We also get to see that Percy isn't alone in his adolescent angst about parental issues.
Then at least let's call your mom.
Excuse me?
The gods' general aloofness, or in Dionysus's case, actively hostile to the feelings of the adolescent offspring, show very clearly and very quickly that this magical world is still fueled by adolescent angst that they will never live up to their parents' expectations of them.
Why is that okay? Why do they get to bring us here to just ignore some of us?
Spend too much time trying to figure out why the gods do whatever it is they do. You'll drive yourself crazy.
I'm sure that's a stable environment to raise kids. Number 5, Luke. I really like how this show is portraying Luke. The actor and the character are both 19 years old at this point, and Luke is just towering over Percy in that cool big brother's fashion, giving him the lay of the land and somewhat protecting him from bullies.
Oh, hey. Knock it off, Clarice. It's like his first day. Come on.
Thus, I buy in principle the decision to make Luke the combo mentor and exposition fairy for Percy as he arrives in Camp Half-Blood. In a few minutes, I already believe that Luke really wants what's best for Percy and wants to see him succeed on his quest, even giving him a gift to help him fly.
You raise me up.
Though, with Zeus gunning for Percy, it's kind of questionable how helpful those shoes are gonna be, but I applaud Luke for breaking the Greek stereotype about gifts. Number 6, Capture the Flag, is our introduction to Annabeth, who, true to her mother's lineage, comes off as aloof and calculating.
You were here the whole time and you didn't help me?
Yes.
Though Percy may have seemed like he was toast for a second there, all he had to do was get in the vicinity of water before unleashing a total can of Achilles at Troy out on Clarice. Though admittedly he's an Achilles in ill-fitting armor. Let me know down in the comments if you think that this was a costume choice for character reasons or a costume choice for budget reasons. Back to Annabeth. By the end of episode 2, she's helped Percy gain the approval of his father, which is what he wanted. Though also she gets him foisted out on a quest, which he doesn't want, but she really does.
Chiron's been promising her for years. One day, a demigod would arrive who was fated to go on a quest that even Chiron couldn't prevent. And when that happened, she could join it.
It's a bit unclear if Annabeth was actually trying to help Percy or just using him to get the heck out of Half-Blood, which is exactly the perfect setup needed for all the drama of episode 3. Number 7, the Oracle. Not gonna lie, I was a bit worried when Percy got his quest at the end of episode 2 without seeming to go visit the Oracle, because, as they say,
I was told a quest isn't a quest until you've said so.
It was a huge relief to see her, and it was great to see the show take its time and wait to reveal the entirety of the prophecy over the course of the episode.
Why?
You shall be betrayed by the one who calls you friend.
Though the show seems to be cutting back on the large number of foreshadowing dreams that Percy has in the book, as I've discovered on my re-listen.
We all have them, you know. Intense, recurring nightmares. That's normal here.
The show seems to have followed the more modern storytelling conventions and downplay the dreams a bit to focus on how teamwork makes the, number 8, dream work. Instead of the exposition dump of episode 2, episode 3 gives us the main characters quarreling like children, which is actually great because they are children.
Does she think she's in charge?
Who do you think would be in charge?
I guess I assumed we'd do a show of hands or something.
I'm voting for yours truly.
Well, I'm voting for yours truly, too.
But Disney's Percy Jackson has this rare quality amongst adaptations. It allows the characters to be themselves and develop the plot on their own. Though the show kind of goes a bit overboard on how smart the characters are, since the books, they totally miss the Auntie M foreshadowing.
Anyone want to guess what M is short for?
But I'm okay with this because it seems like they're overcompensating for how dumb the characters were in the first movie. Moreover, the whole using a shiny surface to defeat Medusa is kind of overdone. So instead we see them work together to use Annabeth's baseball cap and Percy's sword to slay Medusa in a new and inventive way.
Wasn't it yesterday when they were small?
Number 9, Uncle Ferdinand. Grover is benefiting the most from this new adaptation. Though he's still a kid, he's the oldest and is the one who's actually trying to keep the quest on track.
Oh golly, the road's getting bumpy cause I got me some friends who just can't get along.
But most telling is how Grover accepts the fate of his Uncle Ferdinand. As in the book, he's sad to see that his beloved uncle is dead, but he understands that that was a consequence of Ferdinand's choice to be an explorer, and he knows that it's a real fate he could meet himself.
He's not like the others. He doesn't look afraid.
Compare this to the basically an Eddie Murphy knockoff the movie had poor Brandon T. Jackson playing. I'm sure he's a great actor, but that character was not Grover. It's just so clear to me that this show understands its characters, respects them and their key plot points, and is working desperately to fit them all in to 8 or so 40-minute episodes, which is hard, but the show is doing its best. Number 10, Journey to the Underworld. This show has reminded me that Percy Jackson back in the day was, well, not my gateway drug into Greek mythology. Those were like the Smithsonian Discover books. But it definitely was a leveling up of those ideas and putting them into the character developments, plot points, and tropes that I've realized I still really love, even more so than whatever was going on in Harry Potter. Seriously, on this channel, I've already covered the beloved tropes of Grand Theft Firebringer and Journey to the Underworld.
I'm coming away from me. I hear the walls repeating.
Rick Riordan's genius is that he took these tropes and made them subtle and relatable and understandable to a 6th grade audience.
You shall go west and face the God who has turned. And you shall find what was stolen and see it safely returned.
For a 90s kid, the road trip west was such a prevalent trope that it was basically a meme. Fievel went west, Max and Goofy went west, Oregon Trail goes west, American history goes west, even Cars. I am confident that the show will adequately introduce Percy Jackson and friends to a whole new generation of readers, or even listeners.
They will see this as impertinent.
I am impertinent.
Yes, but we're not.
Really, very not.
As I re-listen to the story, since in my old age, I've discovered I'm not that good at reading. Maybe I'm dyslexic, so maybe I'm a half-blood. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye!